Okay, cool, cool. Well, hello everyone. Hi, Unlimited Wisdom family. We're really, really, really excited. So, hi, Fireflies. It looks like Yvonne, Matthew, probably Ezra is hanging out in the back. Coach Bob, Sandy, Melody, Bill, and Rebecca and Deborah are coming on here as well. So, today's subject is how to create momentum. How to create momentum. Now, I was told when I first got involved in building a business that there's a couple of things that a person does. One is creating momentum, and another one is maintaining momentum. And then another one that's extremely difficult is called advancing momentum. And so, what I want to share with you guys right now is just a little statement that, 39 years ago, it put me on the charts. It made everyone look at me. And from that point on, building a business is very, very easy when you document yourself, right? So, as you guys know, my mentor very simply just challenged me, and he said, "Listen, Robert, I want to challenge you." Now, he because he knew I was challenged, he goes, "Let's say that you're half of me." How many people, when you hear that phrase, just immediately go, "Oh, hell no"? That's what he said to me. He goes, "Listen, I got 70 people to watch this video in my first 30 days." And he says, "So let's say that you're half of me." And I just remember like it was yesterday, 39 years ago. I said, "Listen, I'm not half of anybody. I don't even know who you are or what you do, but I'm not half of anybody." So, healthy ego, confidence, whatever. And he said, "Okay," he said, "say as little as possible to as many people as you can, as fast as you can." And I remember like yesterday just going, I have no reason to not agree with this guy. And one of the things that he did is he showed me a bunch of testimonials of people that he helped make over $10,000 in their first 30 days. And he said this was a preschool teacher. This was I even remember the names because I hung out with them, and this is Lori, and she used to be a waitress, and here's Rich, and he used to dig holes, for septic tanks, construction. And here's a guy that sold pots and pans. He was Mark, and Rick, sold pagers. And he's going, "I've helped all these people make over 10,000 in their first 30 days." And one of the things that I just recently brought up is, don't you guys find it fascinating or maybe even sad that 39 years ago, I would ask people, "Give me your imagination. What kind of income would you like to earn?" And 39 years ago, it was, a man, I would love to make 10 grand a month. And 39 years later, people go, "I would love to make 10 grand a month." So it's that magic number that if you could consistently make over 10 grand a month. Well, as you guys know, I did more. I got the video in front of 72 people. And then what ended up happening is that I documented myself. So my first check from the company, it was a total of 45 days. They only paid once a month at the end of the month. It was crazy. So I got in at the middle of the month, like I did with MDC, like I'm doing now with Immunotech. It's pretty interesting. It's like the middle of the month kind of thing. And I remember like when I got that $10,210 check, we do understand that faith is having belief without seeing something. We do understand, speaking of things that are not as if they are. But I can tell you from someone that's a big believer that getting a physical check in my hand did make a huger difference for me. And I remember that my mentor was so smart. He goes, "Robert, do you have someone that you could sign this check over to that could give you 10,000 in cash?" And I go, "Why would I do that?" And he goes, "Well, I know you have immediate needs that you have right now, But I need you to understand that if you could endorse this check over to somebody and they could give you the money when you get another check, you can just give them a check and then you got money right now. And I remember finding someone like yesterday. And back in those days, if you endorsed a check over, it was like pay to the order of Bob Johnson. You know what I mean? And you signed it underneath there. Once you did that, you could not deposit it in your own personal check account. So he wanted me to do that so I could stuff that in everyone's face, right? So the first thing I want to tell all of you is that I logged into my Yellowstone bank account today, and because of the pay service that Immunitech uses, I got a direct deposit from PayPal for that $1,076. Now, here's something that I want to tell you guys. It was interesting that, you got to be a pretty big, solid company to have PayPal doing your payroll. Yes or yes? um, I know a lot of companies, including me, when I tried to do my own, as soon as you do a little bit of volume, they just say, no, we don't want you anymore. You know what I mean? It's like a lot of people get shut down on their merchant accounts and get being paid. So, I'm pretty excited that PayPal is the one that pays us. What is going on? I'm going to have to get some new equipment, I think. See if he'll go back to it. Huh. Can you guys still hear me okay? All right. Let me try what I did last time. Okay. This is very interesting here. All right, you guys can hear me, but no, 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 nothing, huh? Video settings. You guys see me? Okay. We'll just do it this way. Oh my Lord. Hey, gotta get new equipment, all right? But I'll just say right now, whatever's trying to stop me from making people millions of dollars and also helping these individuals that ask for it to be extremely healthy for the rest of their life, I rebuke you. Not today, Satan. Okay, so well, I'm pushing that out there, right? So once I got that check, how many people think it was a little more easier for me to recruit, for me to get people to look at it? Absolutely. Now, I don't know if it was a check, but it definitely was my attitude because seeing is believing, right? So one of the things that you guys have probably noticed on my Facebook page is that, I'm not only showing, I must have just missed silver, you know what I mean? But, we hit gold and then we hit diamond in our first week. We found out this morning from the corporation that Terry won a trip to Cabo in mid-January. If we do enough volume, I might get to go. And one of the things that's really hilarious is we just went over 216,000 in volume. I'll say that again. Over 216,000 in volume. So I'm going to post that as well. But one of the things I wanted you guys to know is that how I created all of this momentum. And right now, if I tried to calculate it in the first 10 days of Immunotech, I've done probably 4 times more than I did my first month and a half in MDC. Is that crazy? So, it's like right now we're setting Probably 30,000 in volume, away from hitting 250K in our first 2 weeks of the company. If you guys want to put that in your head. So people are excited, people are using the products, and people are really, really going up the ranks very, very, very quickly. So now what I want to share with you guys is, because it's growing so fast, I want you to give you my attitude or some examples of what I used to tell people in the past. And they worked for me. They just always, always worked for me. So I'll tell you the first story that was always, always, always told to me. And this story, I really love this story because it was definitely the first story that my mentor told me to get me really excited. And so he said, Robert, go on imagination with me. Again, you guys know how much I believe in the master imaginator, right? So here's the whole thing that happened is he says sometimes you get up early. In fact, I did today. I got up earlier than I normally did. And so he said, I want each and every one of you to go on this trip with me, right? So you get up in the morning and you're up and no one else is up. You know what I mean? And so what you do is you decide that you'll just go for a drive, right? And so you go for a drive and you're out sort of in the country, and all of a sudden, what you do is you decide the sun's going to come up in a little bit. So maybe what I'll do is just pull off the beaten path and get in a darker area, to watch the sun come up. And when you decide to do that, all of a sudden you see a small path, but it hasn't been driven on much. And so what you do is you just take this path off the road and you go for a while until you can't anymore. And all of a sudden, there's a bunch of trees and all kinds of stuff. And then what you do is you look over to the right, you wait for your eyes to get adjusted, and you notice that there's a tree, but behind the tree looks like a cave. Are you guys all with me? Right? And so you look at this cave and you go, wow, that's interesting. And the lights start to come up. Sun's not really bright yet. And you walk up and you do see it's a cave. And so you get, how many of you, when you look into a dark space and you can't see anything, you get your hair sort of stands up a little bit going, I don't think you should go in there. Right? And so you move to the right as far as you can. And what you can do is barely see around the corner, and you see this great big giant glowing, like there's either like a fire, but you don't see any smoke, but it looks like something's in there. And so now that the sun's coming up a little bit, you decide to walk in because it's getting brighter in there. And when you go in, about 10 feet and you go to the left, you see what's glowing. And as the sun's coming up, it's peeking through this hole, and what it's doing is it's reflecting on a giant pile of gold. A giant pile of gold, right? So then what you do is you walk over and grab it, right? And bite on it a little bit, smell it, and everything just looks like it's real gold. So on a scale to 1 to 10, how excited are you? There's hundreds of millions of dollars here, right? So what you do is you start filling your pockets, you start filling your pockets, filling pull your shirt up a little bit, maybe take the, arms of your shirt or your sweater, and you just start filling it up. And you don't realize right away, just how heavy gold is. But, gold's really heavy. And so all of a sudden you walk out, you put it in the trunk of your car, and then you go back and you just keep doing that a number of times. And then all of a sudden you realize that your vehicle is really, really starting to drop. And you're going like, well, this stuff is too heavy. I need to go drop it off. So what you do is on your way driving home, you pull in the driveway, and on a scale of 1 to 10, how are you acting? It's like open the garage. You're honking your horn. Open up the garage. Open. What's happening? Just do what I tell you. Just do what I tell you. And then you pull out, you back up, you open the trunk, and your spouse and your kids that are there, they're going, "What is this?" And you go, "It's gold. Help me get it out. Help me get it out." And so everyone's now getting it. But now what you do is you take your whole family with you, right? And you go back. Now the sun's coming up a little more. But now that you're driving on this path, it's starting to get wore out a little bit. So people can actually tell where you're going. And your mind sort of gets into this fear of loss thing. And as soon as you get into a fear of loss or fear of missing out, how many of you immediately go, "It's not going to take long before everyone knows that there's a bunch of gold here." And when people find out, maybe even the government, "Oh my God, now they're just going to take it all." But every time you go back, you look at it and you're sort of like, it's playing with your mind a little bit. It looks like you're for sure you're not getting into that pile. So this time you take a stick and you draw all the way around the pile as close as you can get to the gold. Then you and your family go back home, you back up, you're starting to put gold back in the garage. You guys are getting excited. And guess what? It was exactly what you had suspicion of. You drive in, you guys run into the cave, and you look and you go, "Oh my God." And they go, "What?" And you go, "For every piece of gold we take out, there's two that come back." And so the gold pile went over the line. So now you know that it's not going to take very many loads and the gold is going to be outside of the cave. Are you guys understand what I'm talking about? And it was quite a ways from the road, but gold coming out of a cave is definitely going to be seen by the road. So now, who do you tell? Wouldn't you call the people that you love the most? And wouldn't you call the people that you're friends? And where would your enthusiasm be on a scale to 1 to 10? It's like not asking questions, right? Who knows? The phone might even be bugged, right? So I'm reaching out and going, "Lisa Marie, listen, you trust me? You and Freddie got to come in the vehicle and come over to my place right now." "Well, what is this?" "If you don't come, I don't care." Take a look at this, right? And you call everyone. I'm calling Coach Bob. I'm calling Deb. I'm calling Rebecca. I'm calling Shelly. I'm calling Jim. I'm calling Craig. I'm calling Faith. I'm calling my son. Well, he's already been helping me. Him and Ezra. I'm talking to Yvonne, Merschel, everyone, right? Deborah, Melody, Sandy, everyone, right? And that's the way I treat this business. Instead of thinking how to explain it, I just keep posting videos, keep posting videos, keep posting videos. If you guys went to my Facebook page right now, you're going to see a guy that says that it helps him with his hangovers, right? And Coach Bob got that to me. So thank you very much. And we're going to constantly have these videos where you can share with people because you will never know. This is what people do is they go, "How do you know who will do this business?" And there's this phrase that I've heard my whole life is those that you think will won't and those that you think won't will. It's just how I believe God is. It's like people that we go, "Oh, geez, I'm sure in the hell not calling that person because they're a loser for sure." And then, this person, I would never ask them because they got a job and they've always made more money than me. And so what we do is we take all this judgment, and what we do is before we share information, we should just give them the information. And then from there, let them make their own decision. Does that sound fair? And so when Bill told me this 39 years ago, that's the way I treated the business. Whenever anybody ever asked me any question, I'd go, "Wow, that's a great question. I don't know, but I guarantee you it's in one of these videos. How many of you guys know people that you'll send them the playlist, and when you send them the playlist, they ask you questions that are involved in the videos? It's like I've sent people to playlists and they go, "Well, what's the product?" It's like, huh? And I just say to them very nicely, there's an incredible promotion going on between now and the end of the month. And after that moment, whether people are going to get this promotional deal, I will call you after the 31st because then I'll have time to share with you a little more about what it is. But right now, there's something incredible happening in the company, and I just want to find the people that don't want to miss out. So thank you very much. I'll call you later. Man, they'll go watch the videos. You got to say something with enthusiasm. Curiosity killed the cat, right? And that's what you really need to do to get people to look at the information. But post things on your wall and sort of think of things that you could say that would make people go, I wonder what the hell that is. So, hangover help. The only reason that I changed one word is because Bob had cure, and I thought, oh my God, social media doesn't like the word cure. You know what I mean? But my point is there's a number of these analogies that I've always been told that I use. And when you really use that kind of excitement of just how many people can I honestly say that I got this in front of? So this morning I had to get up early and we had 18 people that have hit silver already and above. And I couldn't get the melody fast enough. And the people that were on there were all just saying the same thing that I'm sharing with you guys. It's like, not only hitting diamond in a week, but getting a trip in a week, but also, I'm now a paid consultant. How many people have ever heard someone say I'm a paid consultant? I heard that you're consultants in this company. You're either a customer or a consultant. But once you get paid, aren't you a paid consultant? And I thought that would be something really cool to put on LinkedIn. I'm now a paid consultant with a Immunitech. And people are, what is that? Congratulations. But I don't care how I get people to look at the information, I'll do it. Now I want to give you guys a couple of other ones that I just love. When I tell people, if they did these things, if they just had faith and all out did this to create momentum, you don't have to do it again. What you guys are watching me do live time until the end of this month, and definitely all of December, is me setting myself up for the next 7, 8 years, probably more. So, how many of you wouldn't mind making $5 million in the next 7 years? Okay. Just doing this slowly is painful. The one thing that anything about business is doing it slowly is so painful, right? So here's the next step. I'll give you two stories that I love. So one of it's like sorting. You don't know who's going to do it and who's not. So the whole thing is it was always the deal where you need to be an oyster. Say you were hired to be an oyster shucker. All right. And what your deal is these divers are coming up and they're putting buckets up of all these oysters, and you're going to get $1,000 for every pearl that you find. All right. So they teach you with a penknife how to open it up. And then once you open it up, you're looking for a pearl and you're moving your finger through the shell and the gooey stuff to find the pearl. Now, here's why 95% of the people, or I should say 97, why 97% of the people fail is they just can't stop thinking. It's impossible for them to stop thinking. So they get the bucket, they open up the oyster, they feel through it, and then they go, there's no pearl in here. And everybody's looking around and going, Go to the next one. Well, maybe what I did is I opened it wrong, and that's why there's not a pearl in there. Now you open it up right. But maybe what I could do is look at the bucket, and maybe I'm looking for some distinguished colors or marketing and size, and that would allow me to find the pearl so I don't have to go through them all. How many people do you know immediately look at what happens in anything and they immediately are looking for the shortcut? You know what I mean? There's got to be a faster way. There's not a faster way. And then the ones that I love that are people that are very yellow, you know what I mean? Tree huggers, they can't find a pearl. So then what they do is they close up the clam and they go, there's got to be something I can do to this oyster to get it to grow a pearl. Maybe I could train it. Maybe I could take it to an accountability course. There's something that I got to do to get this thing to grow a pearl. And what you got to do is you got to just realize that you got to open it up, feel for a pearl. There's not one, throw it away. And grab another one and do the same. And grab another one and do the same. And I guarantee you, because God's not a discerner of persons, if you just focus to see how fast you could go through the bucket of oysters, you'll find a pearl. Now, when you find a pearl and get $1,000 for it, what does this do to your belief level? What does this do to your confidence level? What is the thought that you might have that there might be some other pearls in these buckets that they're bringing up? But what I know is most people won't focus long enough, intensely enough, with enough enthusiasm and faith to find their first pearl. So that I told you that story only because that's the two stories that my mentor told me, and they seem to do pretty well. So, in 39 years, $60 million plus, helping 68 people that I know of make $1 million, it's like this is a good strategy. So, what you guys are seeing me do right now is how important it is to create momentum. Do I know what my check's going to be? I don't have a clue. I don't even understand this compensation plan. So I just know that more people, more money, right? So here's the one that I loved using. I used a different analogy because I actually started telling that to people. And all of a sudden I see people go, well, why are you killing oysters? You know what I mean? It's like, oh my God. You know, so so then I came up with this one, right? So how many people have seen a big plastic garbage can? You know what I mean? For those of you that don't know, they're like 55-gallon drums, right? It's that big. So imagine that all I tell you is that you'll be financially set for life, and I guarantee you that you'll make $10 million. Because I know how some of you think. It's like, well, if I won 10 million, I got to give 5 million to the government. So it'd be net 5 million. How many of you are still in the thought with me? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull you up and set you in front of a slot machine with the guarantee that you're going to get $10 million. Guaranteed. And so then what I do is I take this plastic garbage can, and I pull it up next to you, and it's full of quarters. And the guarantee is that you will make a $10 million jackpot before you go through that whole entire 55 gallon drum. So there's a bunch of people that all of a sudden will start asking questions. And you got to be smart enough when people do this to just let them go. Let them, let them go. So people go, well, how long is it going to take me to go through all the quarters? How do I know you're gonna? How do I know I'm gonna get the jackpot? I could fill out a contract and guarantee it. Well, how do I know that you have 10 million in the account? Do you guys know these people? It's like it's impossible for them to have faith. It's impossible for them to have faith. They never find a way to the place where it's true. They just don't. And unfortunately, you got to let them go. Then you got the other people that sit there, they reach in, they grab a couple of quarters and they put them in, they pull the deal. And I go, "Listen, you can just press a button. You don't have to pull the lever. You can put the money in and press it. And oh, by the way, you can put three quarters in at a time." And see, people will go one, two, three, they'll press it, they won't get the jackpot, and they'll go, "Yeah, this is not for me." So every time I do a run like this, the one thing that I always tell myself that I'm going to do, and I just don't do it because it's such a waste of frickin' time, is I don't count the number of people that I go through. Every time I do a run like this, people will say, "Well, how many people did you go through?" And it's like, golly, I'm not going to take a piece of paper and keep writing little notches on it to count on the people that I went through before I hit silver, before I hit gold, before I hit diamond. Do you guys get it? So there's two leaderboards in the back office, and I haven't looked at it today, but it's probably 23, 24, 25, because I brought another two people in today. I think I'm on like eight customers, but you guys could log into your back office and click on customers and consultants and see exactly where I am. Here's the question that I'll ask you all. Do you think that I'll have more customers and more consultants before the end of this month? Absolutely. Did it freeze up? Hello? Man, we're going to have to go do something other than Zoom. This is like crazy. Are you guys there?